What if I told you the national and local media have already created the narrative for the Jets' 2026 season, and that no matter what happens, the media wins and the fans, you, lose? Because if the Jets start losing games, they're on track for 2027. Let's talk about college prospects and do mock drafts in October. But if the Jets do start winning in 2026, it'll be, what are they doing? They just ruined their future. And the craziest part? Most fans don't even realize it's happening. Let me show you exactly how this narrative is being built and why the 2026 season might be the most misrepresented one for the Jets in decades. Welcome back to the channel. If you're into smart, no BS Jets analysis, where we actually break down what's happening instead of just repeating headlines, hit that subscribe button, because today we're digging into something bigger than a roster. We're talking about expectation control. So here's the story the national media is quietly pushing, the national and local as well. The Jets are not supposed to be good in 2026. All the ESPN and other analytics and all the so-called experts are saying so. The Jets are, quote, building toward 2027 is what they're saying. Why, you might ask? Well, good question. 3 first-round picks, loaded quarterback class, supposedly a reset timeline for the Jets. Yet again, you've probably heard some versions of this already. They're positioning themselves for the quarterback of the future in a loaded 2027 draft. 2026 is really about development and setting up the roster for that future quarterback, and 2027 is when it really all comes together. And that sounds pretty reasonable, right? But here's the problem. That framing only works if you ignore what the Jets actually are in 2026. Because underneath that narrative, there's something they're all not saying out loud. This roster is much better than just about anyone in the media will admit, at least publicly. Look at it honestly. This is not a bottom-tier rebuilding team. This is a team with established defensive talent: Minkah, DeMario, Onyemata, Briggs, Phillips, Devondre Sweat. Young players entering prime development windows: Breece, Garrett, Will McDonald, and the 4 impact rookies that we took this year: 3 first round, 1 second round. Coaching improvements from last year: Carl Dunbar, Frank Reich, Ben Bowling, Ryan Slowick, etc., etc. And crucially, flexibility. We can always add during the season if need be, very easily. We have plenty of cap space, as opposed to the selling that we did last year. Now, this is the kind of roster that can win 8 or 9, maybe even 10 games, even without elite quarterback play, especially if we get Seattle Geno, which was very good, and not Vegas Geno, which wasn't as good. And the media knows that. They just don't want to frame it that way, because if they did, well, their entire 2027 narrative starts to fall apart. And it also influences Jet fans to root for losses rather than wins. Probably the most disgusting way to go through an NFL season, also known as tanking. Now, here's where it gets interesting and honestly a little manipulative. By lowering expectations for 2026, they're setting up a future talking point, something I call the long con. And that is, the Jets messed up again. Lol Jets. Let's play it out. Scenario A, the Jets struggle. Media reaction, right on schedule. They're building toward drafting their quarterback in 2027, and during the season, they can use Woody Johnson and Aaron Glenn as punching bags, the same formula they've been using for years now: negative clickbait and profit, baby. Everything fits the narrative. All good as far as they're concerned. Now, scenario B, the Jets outperform expectations, the expectations that they have set. They win games. They compete. They finish, say, 8-9, 9-8, or God forbid, 10-7. What happens now? Suddenly the conversation flips. Did the Jets just screw themselves out of a top quarterback? Are they stuck in mediocrity? Did they win too much? Same season, completely different framing, and both outcomes serve the same narrative machine. This is not honest analysis by credentialed, respected analysts. It's just narrative looping designed to keep you clicking, watching their dumb content, and buying the stupid products they push on you during commercials or from sponsorships. All while they know this is a team that can compete for the playoffs. And this matters more than it seems because it changes how the fans experience the season. Instead of evaluating, is this team improving and can we make the playoffs? You're being media mind controlled to ask, is this helping or hurting 2027? That's a completely different mindset. It turns wins into problems. It turns progress into risk. And it shifts the focus away from something that could turn this franchise into a perpetual winner instead of an annual laughingstock, which is solid quarterback play, player development, system identity, and culture, where no matter what changes may come, the winning stays the same. And especially for a franchise like the Jets that has struggled more with instability than with talent. Now here's the reality the media won't emphasize. You don't build a sustainable team by aiming to draft high every year. You build it by having a good quarterback brain trust to properly evaluate, teach, game plan with, and play call the position. Which, by the way, we now have in Frank Reich, Bill Musgrave, and to some extent even Darren Muji. And then developing players correctly all across the roster with good coaching, something we hopefully have improved upon this year, establishing the systems that work, including player, coach, and front office pipelines. So that way, no matter who you lose, you have a pipeline of people to call upon. And yes, learning how to win games even if imperfectly. If the Jets win 9 or 10 games in 2026, it's not a failure. It's evidence of a culture starting to take hold with this team. And that same culture is what will allow both a current and future quarterback, whether drafted in 2027 or Geno Smith this year, to actually succeed. With the quarterback brain trust in place, the quarterback position simply becomes part of the overall culture shift, and off we go. So when you hear 2026 doesn't matter or they need to stay in position for 2027, just remember, this is not some neutral, nuanced take. It's a setup. The media are literally setting you up for their own profit. Your misery equals big bucks for big media. And remember, Josh Allen was the 7th overall pick. Drake May, 3rd. Patrick Mahomes, 10th. Lamar Jackson, 32nd. Justin Herbert, 6th. The NFL draft is completely unpredictable. So even if you end up with a top 3 pick, that's no guarantee of hitting the quarterback jackpot, as we've seen with Sam Darnold and Zach Wilson. The media narrative for the Jets season has already been written. The only question is whether fans will buy into it. So let me know in the comments, would you rather see the Jets win 8, 9, 10 games in 2026 or just bottom out and completely tank for a shot at a top QB? And if you want more deep dive Jets analyses like this one, hit that subscribe button because we're going to keep breaking down what's really happening with the Jets behind the headlines.